clicking live. All right. Can we see if we are live? Welcome, everyone. This is the 14 Three Marketers
Awesome.
show. Without
Awesome.
realizing, it's already more than 3 months now. We have been doing this for 14 weeks right now. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. And if you're watching this, please say hi because we are still getting used to going live with Zoom. So I need to make sure that everything is all right on my end over here. So if you're watching this already, can you say hi? On my Zoom, I can see we are already live. If I'm actually missing anything,
Looks like you're live.
are we?
Looks
Are
like you're
we?
live. Looks
Are
like you're
we?
live. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
welcome to the Three Marketer Show. This is Jason. I'm your host. Together with my co-host, we have Andrew and Manfred here. So as you can see, we have a special guest today. And as usual, you see, this is what we do every Wednesday night, where we go live at 10 p.m. to discuss one Facebook advertising or digital marketing specific related questions. So for the past 13 weeks, we have been doing a lot of hardcore digital marketing topics. We range from Facebook advertising, we have Google SEM guy, SEO guy, and we have email marketing people talking. And this week we want to bring in something very interesting, where you see this is really something that I'm not familiar with. We were talking about face-to-face selling. So we have a very hardcore sales trainer. Faizal, according to what Andrew introduced to us, this is one of the best sales trainer in the market. And basically, Faizal is going to share with us in the current time, how can digital marketing really help sales process, as in coming from an angle of an MNC perspective and an SME perspective. So Faizal is Andrew's good friend. So I'll pass the baton over to Andrew. Andrew, please help us introduce Faizal to help our audiences understand who is Faizal, what is his background, and then we will roll into the show. So for those who are watching, please say hi. If this is the first time you see this, you probably want to hit the share, probably like and subscribe button to make sure that you'll be notified whenever we go live. It's going to be every Wednesday at 10 p.m. And we have Chiwai here already, and then we have a few people. Okay, so if you guys have any questions regarding face-to-face selling, how can we actually work together with digital marketing, feel free to post in the comment below, and we will pick up your questions and answer your questions as we move along. All right, Andrew, you're up.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, guys. So our special guest, Faizal, I've met him. He just reminded me that I've met him 5 years ago. I thought it was just a couple of years. I met him during a mastermind for productivity, and I was interested in the sense that he has this independent streak in him, and being a salesman, you tend to recognize that salespeople on the ground generally we are almost like an artist. We don't like to be controlled, and we don't like to follow rules, and we have our own ways of doing it. So Faisal struck me across as somebody who actually knows that, and so-called people say it takes a thief to recognize a thief, lah. So that's how we struck our friendship. And our friend works in the oil and gas. He now specifically train field salespeople, and he's an avid cyclist. I enjoy his normal Facebook posts. It's very down to earth, and to a certain extent very sarcastic, lah. But
that doesn't sound rhyme to me, though.
That doesn't rhyme, huh?
Sarcastic. Anyway,
salespeople, okay. I'm one of them also, huh? So, right. But I think at the core is, we were discussing about how does digital marketing affect normal field sales, face-to-face selling, especially now with COVID and all those things. And so I decided to invite Faisal on the show and to discuss this for everyone. So Faisal, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Manfred, for having me on this show.
It's an honor.
As you know, it's an honor for me when Andrew said, "Hey, can you join with us?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" Because I always thought that at one point that marketing people tend to be working in their own sphere.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I always curse my marketing colleagues in my previous company. I said, all you guys did is just produce the collaterals, and that's all. You even when they produce events, it was like, what the heck were you thinking with this event? You do this like that, and so on. So towards the last few years of my paid working career in sales, I tended to hijack these marketing events, right? So that and after some time we learn how to jive with these marketing people and with sales guy. So anyway, before I begin, I go further. A disclaimer: don't really follow my Facebook pages because it's full of swear words, and it's very opinionated. Like Andrew mentioned, there are some down to earth, but it's very opinionated. Do look at my LinkedIn though. You can search my LinkedIn with the same name, and this is again when we talk about how digital marketing help people like me, and especially in this COVID-19 thingy where uh, you can hardly see anyone, even though I had a good meeting with a client this afternoon, but it's rare, right? But I've been using LinkedIn and Facebook way before COVID happened, in the same way that I would suggest for you to use this LinkedIn and Facebook now. Because there was a time when I was told by my boss, Faisal, you need to go out to Indonesia, open up the market there. And I was thinking, how the heck will I do that? I only, hang on, if my wife is listening or not, I had a former girlfriend there, so I wouldn't want to involve her and all that. So, so this is the where LinkedIn came about. And we were just chatting earlier on. No, not many people are LinkedIn or even Facebook, and that's okay with me because any organization that you give to me, I only need one person really, right? That one person often I found on LinkedIn, and in one of my successes in Indonesia, I found a name of a person who is not even LinkedIn. So this guy in Indonesia, there's this body called BP Migas, the authority on oil and gas in Indonesia that decides whatever you want to spend on oil and gas in Indonesia, they will have to sign on every single cent. And there is a director general there. So if he doesn't approve, forget about doing anything. And prior to that, I had 3 proposals via the other oil companies to the tune of about $3.5 or $4 million US that would cancel because this particular body didn't know what the proposal was all about. And I was losing that much order. So what I did was I scour LinkedIn. I think you all know how to do that, right? Just go to LinkedIn, the simplest function, search, right, for the company that you want. And all these things came, all the names and whatnot, look at the departments, right? So I found a few names, okay? And as we said, not everybody is in there, but I found that the secretaries tended to be in there. Okay, and the secretaries also tended to be in Facebook. All right. So you link the two together, you know the face, you know who's the boss. So all I did was, with those information, I went to their lobby, make a phone call. Not immediately I get someone. There's always a trial and error thingy. But this time I think on the 10th try.
Wow, 10th try.
Sorry?
10th
10th
try.
call. Yeah, because I have the general number. I don't have their mobile number.
Wow.
Right? Some on the Facebook has ones. So I got someone who's willing to see me. So that person come up, and from there I got to meet the engineers, I got to meet the managers, right? So the rest is history. So I got all my proposals approved after that because we have presented, right? Same like even in Petronas here, it's the same story again. I needed that, so I went to LinkedIn, look for the name of the person or the name of the projects. Even today, I did the same thing. We got an inquiry on Monday, so I got the name, and we were supposed initially to meet via MS Teams. But last minute this morning, they called us for a meeting. So I said, okay, how the heck do I talk to this guy? I don't even know him and so on. straight away went on LinkedIn, check his track record. He has been with this company, that company, whom I happen to know, and some projects I did, so I know his history. And I look at another engineer, a lady, same thing. She's on Facebook also, which is better. I got to know the kids and so on. So I was just open. Hey, look, I was just googling your name to know who you are, and I found that, hey, your Facebook profile is very nice. You've been camping here, you've been doing that. So we got talking about not work. So we got talking about camping and how kids are crazy about water. So this is where things like this help the face-to-face part, because in face-to-face selling, as we call it, it's more about building rapport through something in common or something that they like. Right, so I found this information. There we go. And hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this week, we got to send in the proposal. It was about $1 million, not so bad. For,
Wow. That's interesting.
for a Facebook stalking. Sorry, don't call it stalking, Facebook search.
Yes. we don't Facebook search. We don't stalk.
I interrupt a bit. I remember some website. I can't remember off my head. There's some website actually can pull out company's email address. I remember I saw that before.
Yes.
There's a.
Yes.
I think it's a paid
Yes.
service. There's a
Yes,
lot
it's
of
a
funny
paid
things.
service. Yeah.
There's a lot of funny tools out there. I was quite shocked to realize that email is one
Yes.
thing. Then phone number not available. Email, yes.
Yep.
I think who is inside the organization. I think I
Yes.
saw that before also. Who is inside the organization?
I
Maybe don't have.
I work with a company, a British company in the energy industry, so they have access to this particular website called eic.com or eic.co-uk at the time. So here, any energy project in the world, proposed, done, or whatever is in there, and it has a company name, the people who are bidding, the project manager for that company, the bidders and so on, down to their email.
Wow.
I've used that kind of website, right? So the great thing about this kind of website, I know for the next 5 years, what are the projects happening, who are the owners of the project, who are the bidders, or bidders going to be even.
Wow.
So from there, you can decide to see who are going to be the front runners. And then I will go to LinkedIn, look at who's this guy named so-and-so. They say Andrew Wong. Who's Andrew Wong? You go to there, like 4 or 5 Andrew Wong, you look at, okay, which Andrew Wong is closest to this particular thingy. Yes, sometimes there are mobile numbers. But most of the time, even if they don't have mobile numbers, right, as long as you have the face from LinkedIn or whatnot, I am the kind of a thick face one. I can go, once I know your face, I will go to your receptionist. I wait for you to come down for lunch.
Wow.
And I will say hi, here's my card, and then that's it. Those how I use this kind of tools. That's why I said how this particular LinkedIn or this kind of website help my face-to-face sales.
It
I
brings
do
back.
have a thick face.
Yeah, I think thick face is one thing that I think salespersons must have. I totally agree with that. In one way or another, we are all salesperson. It's just that we may not have as thick as yours, but thick face is one of the things. I totally agree on that. But okay, I want to dig deeper because I think LinkedIn appeared several times in our conversation just now. So I would like to see if we are able to elaborate a little bit, Faisal. That brings us to the next question, which is, how do you really use LinkedIn for your sales process? Can we actually can we elaborate on the case just now? Let's say you see something, let's say when there's an inquiry, you will really go on LinkedIn and you just do multiple search. Is there any limitation in terms of the number of search that you can make on a daily basis? Would that hit you or something like that? I mean, fundamentally, the question goes how do you really use LinkedIn for your sales process? If you're able to give us a little bit of using a case study to elaborate, that would be great.
Okay, the search so far I think is unlimited, but once you found the profiles, the number of profiles you can access on a free account is limited. But I think we chat with Manfred earlier on, if you use a paid account like Sales Navigator, you can at least go in for 15 profiles or something like that. So
Okay.
for example, so I think at least 15 profiles, and you can also send in emails. So I've sent emails through link, they call it what, link mail or something like that. You can send emails there. But in my experience, the chances of getting a hit with LinkedIn email is not that high. So
Yeah.
it's still best for you to give a call. And of course, when you give a call, the gatekeeper there, the secretary, will filter you. And of course, you have 10 million reasons why her boss cannot speak to you. So from there, it's like I said, where the thick face comes into play again lah. Right. So I was doing that in a company called Technic. They're now based in Wisma Technic, Jalan Tun Razak there. They're doing a lot of project works in oil and gas, process plants, and so on. I got to know them from they had a 2-floor at the Wisma Technic until the whole building is called Wisma Technic. So what I did was, again, this is where the thick face is there, right? Go through LinkedIn, find out the person in terms of position. Let's say I want to find lead instrument engineer or lead piping engineer. And not often I would have the luxury of knowing which project they are on. But as long as I know their face, right? Again, this is the thick face tactic. We go to the receptionist, buy her some nice sweets, chocolate, whatever. Most of them would love chocolate because they're sitting there doing nothing much and they would like something to munch, right? So just, it's something small. Is this guy in or not?
Right.
Right? So, I mean, the first time maybe they say no lah, but after like 3-4 times you do that, you again, okay lah, I take your kacang lah, thank you lah. So I came to the point where I went to the reception before I even come in. Okay, who you want to see today? This guy is out, this guy is out, this guy is in, this guy has a meeting, this guy on medical leave and whatnot. And even at one point when I call through the phone receptionist, they know my voice already.
Wow.
Yes,
that shows how many visits you went, man.
Yes, it's you again. You've been bugging me for the rest of the week. I said, sorry lah, tomorrow I bring this. And I do bring things like kacang and all that. Please pass to your phone receptionist, you know. And next day, hey, thank you for the kacang. I can tell you this guy is out. And at the point when I call and they hear my voice, they know who I want to talk already.
So you're trying to make the receptionist to be on your side lah.
Yes, this is about getting past the gatekeeper. First the receptionist, then you have the secretary.
Yeah.
I've tried that before in my in selling. I went all the way down, even down to the security.
Wow.
Yep.
Because you'd be surprised, especially if it's like, for example, those factories or other big buildings. If you know the security guys well enough, they will tell you whether the big bosses are in or what's happening because they have to be alerted, ma.
Yes.
So for the face-to-face part you have mentioned already, do you use email to reach out if you have the email? Do you write to them?
I write. That's one of the things that I do anyway, though I have not gotten so good results from them. Even if it's their main emails or whatever, it's very seldom I get a result. And I realize this is why, because even for my boss, when I look at my boss's email, he has like 12,000 in his inbox, unread.
Yeah.
So even when I send emails to these people, mine could be between 4,000, they're stuck somewhere and so on, right?
That's true.
I will be lucky if it doesn't get to spam, but even if it's in there, you have like 15,000 emails, whatnot.
So this is especially true for the C-levels. You very difficult to reach them by emails.
To be honest, even the engineers.
Engineers also.
Even
What
the
about
engineers.
calling or messaging them if you have their number?
Cold calling during the SMS day when you cannot, the early days where you don't really know who's sending, right? They will reply lah. Who's this, please? At least if they reply to you, who's this, please, you have a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope, and then what next? Right? So if they don't, that one, I think my hit rate is about 50-50.
That's not bad already.
Not so bad. Because you know why? It's like kind of a welcome break sometimes when the engineers, their eyes are already swollen looking at the diagrams, the drawings and so on. Suddenly a message comes in, they might think it's their mother or their wife or
Just reply. How do you continue from there? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
quite
think
curious.
that's the one of the things that I want to ask also. Is what are
Yeah.
the tactics that you would do when there's a reply coming? You know, how
no,
would
no.
This
Okay.
is a real number. I am real. Then what happened next?
Normally, I would have some ideas on the challenges that they have at work, at their place, or they have a burst pipe, burst pressure vessel, or whatsoever. And I know some service that I can help them with. So I was like, hey, just a quick one. I was informed that you might have some challenges here and there. Any chance can catch up with you for 5 minutes, whatever, just to see if I can really help or not. So if the guy has real problem and he's like stuck, okay lah, I see this guy. And sometimes they even say, sorry lah, I'm busy, blah, blah, and so on. I say, okay, I understand you're busy, but for sure you must have breakfast and you do lunch, right? Or you smoke. So I would be waiting in those places.
I realize a lot of times you are all driving it to face. So this brings down to one of a very important question right now, COVID, right? So a lot of time COVID, the salesperson cannot really meet the prospect in person. So in this kind of situation, it's affecting insurance, it's affecting B2B sales. So how do you tackle during this period of time, this kind of problem?
Okay, in my experience so far, I do get face-to-face, though it takes a little longer because they will try to avoid meeting face-to-face, right? So they will say, okay, let's do Zoom, let's do MS Teams, whatnot. And I hate MS Teams, especially with Petronas, because they tend not to show their face.
Oh, why is it so important to see their face?
because you can't see reaction.
For me, I want to see reaction, I want to see the
Body language.
body language and so on. I will know the guy doesn't like to see my face in the first thing or not. Then what's on it? Normally they wouldn't switch on their camera. Normally we just continue and it will come to a point as I think I better meet. It's easier to explain. But in the engineering world, it's a bit easier because drawings are involved, photos are involved, and it's easier to show 4 or 5 drawings and photos on the table rather than trying to show on the laptop screen. So the meeting, just like the one I had today, the inquiry was last week. We had 2 emails, 3 emails going back and forth. Finally, the client themselves said, hey, come over to Maxis Tower today, we have a meeting, finished. Because they also, how to explain this, let's do this. So, but not many, we had about 5 packs just now. Normally they were like 10 come over, we have this, so they limited. Even last week, I went to Korea, rode all the way there, and I still met one person because talking can only achieve so much, Zoom can only achieve so much. I said, hey, couples. And I said, I don't mind riding my Korea. No, rainy season, no problem, I do. So I went there, we had a good chat. Today is one of the results.
So when you establish yourself as a subject matter expert, then from the call or from the Zoom call will lead to a real face-to-face.
Yeah.
That's one of the criteria.
Yeah. The thing is that I always do not establish myself as subject matter expert because, to be honest, if you talk to me technically, I can go first line, second line, by the third line I fumble. Right. So what I want to do is I want to establish to get my subject matter expert to come in at the third line.
Together with you.
Together with me. Right?
You do the warm-up. You do the warm-up
So I
first.
can facilitate, let this guy do the summarizing and whatnot. I just fill in the blanks.
So in a way,
That's
I
why.
think what we can actually safely conclude here is that, despite whatever scenario that we are in right now, the sales process still, especially something that is as serious as, or as established as something that big like what you're saying, we the whatever technology that we have on hand still can't really replace the face-to-face interaction. Can we safely say that?
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Today, okay, just keep it confidential. I won't mention the name of the client.
It's already live there, anyway.
Everybody was
something caught fire. Today,
Okay.
But I won't tell what it is. Something caught fire. and
Right,
we need
right,
to check
right.
The straightness of the structure, everything. So this is when they were trying to explain through Zoom, I said, drawings. The drawings is like so small. I said, And then finally they were themselves exasperated trying to explain, and we play a bit dumb. They say, come on, let's meet. So when we met, it was very clear what are the deliverables they needed, what are the deliverables that we can give, and the time and so on became very, very clear. And even if we could do that last week, we only needed really one meeting. So at the end of the day, it would come to that. But this just helped because first of all, the client was part of the client office was in the East Coast, right? So we cannot simply just go there because they were also not sure if they can meet us or not because of this COVID requirements and so on. Finally, they also check with the management. Yes, with a small number, with everybody covered and so on, we can meet in certain space. So we did that.
Right.
So it's basically at the end of the kind of work you.
So just a quick question. All this on the ground kind of reconnaissance and all these things, is this a dying art in the age of digital?
In a way, yes. I have one group of students. I was getting to be really exasperated with them. I mean, they quoted a lot. They quoted work worth at the time about 60 million ringgit worth of work, supplies, and they secured only 1 million.
Okay.
Only how much?
Only 1 million out of 60 million they secured. So I said, you guys are seriously wasting your time. Then I asked them, who do you know in those companies on the client side? Who are your contacts? They have tender secretariat and the phone number. So I had, do you have a name or a face behind that? Oh, no, we don't. So I said, what is stopping you from going to LinkedIn and look at this particular company that you are dealing with? Who would be the procurement people? I said, yes, they have lots of procurement people, but not everybody is going to be on LinkedIn. Can you find at least 5 or even 3 procurement people there and call them, make an appointment with them? So even if they're not the right person, normally human nicety, they will channel it to the right person. So I was not happy with that. They couldn't do it and so on. I took it for me to call the person herself, made an appointment. I dragged my students to Pasir Gudang, put them in person. So I said, so what's so difficult? And they was like,
I think it boils down
another,
right.
yeah. So in another case,
Willingness to dig in the
yes, it's
please.
It's a bit more work. It's a bit more work, but the technology is there to help you.
Yeah.
It's just about you wanting to. Yeah, Manfred.
So I understand for MMC, LinkedIn plays an important tool. But what happens if your target is SME, where the audience, as in organization, is very small? If it's a small organization, maybe all of them are not on LinkedIn, then that will be a bit tricky, right? So my question is, what is the difference between prospecting in SME and MMC? Do you need to change your approach?
Okay, the way I see with SME, you also don't really need to target everyone in SMEs. You only need a certain percentage, right? In Malaysia, there are about 900,000 SMEs. So if you are going to go to every SMEs and targeting every nook and cranny for SMEs in Malaysia, you're going to be dead, right? So even if you have 900,000, you only need 1, and that 1%, you have to decide what kind of 1% that you want. So this is when you scour your LinkedIn, you scour your for Malaysia. There is a registration list with SME Corporation, or they give you this particular area. These are the players. These are typical players. Because for sure you want to go for those people with the very small turnover, struggling to maintain their company above water. Because whatever service that you do, they cannot pay you properly. I mean, not to be so selective or discriminative. You want a certain band of SMEs So those people, at least I would say there is one or two on LinkedIn. So all you need is that one or two. So if you have 9,000 SMEs in Malaysia, that you 900,000, you manage to target even 900. You have two, that's already 1,800 people. Enough for your sales activity for 3 years.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Then how do you know that they are ready to buy your services or product? How do you know that this 900 that you
Yeah,
found?
how do you zoom in? I think I agree with that question. How do you zoom in?
900, no way
Okay.
you can cover so much. You only had that much time only also.
Yeah, how do you prioritize
So
your sales
normally-
process and all that from one step to another?
Okay, normally there are magazines, there are business news that say which companies are kind of active in Malaysia. This like these SME magazines, you know, who get contracts, who get this kind of contract, that contract, and so on. So actually, it's not even 900 that you want to target. Maybe it's about 90 to be small. So these are the names that normally comes out in the news. So when you have these company names, for example, company that came up with the app to track your movement, MySejahtera, or company that supply this and that to the government. So you know these companies have money to spend, right? And their names come up. And when you go to LinkedIn, I can guarantee you will have two or three names from there. Or even if that person is a secretary, that's all you need. Just go there. Okay, I don't often also make an appointment. I would go with my sad face, a bit sweaty. I just came from far away. Can I, 5 minutes? I just want to know who does what in your company. So if I get the name of MD, I say, I understand your MD is busy. He won't see me today, guaranteed. And what I get, it's okay. So and so can spare you 10 minutes. I call him, let me see. Oh, that's what happens. So even that, let's say I managed to get 50 companies. Realistically, do you need all 50 companies to be a customer? It depends on your business, but for my business, I get 5, I'm happy. So imagine 5 from 900,000. I only need 5 to consult with or 5 to train.
So in a way, are you sort of rushing to have a face-to-face to get more information? Is it the direction that your approach that you're doing? Trying?
Face-to-face is something that I want to happen eventually, and the sooner is better. I don't really rush.
Okay.
Right? Like I said, I don't rush to go through the 900 companies. If I can do 50 or 500, I'm happy enough. As long as the people that I meet can be of quality, can spend time, I can find something in common. And normally I have this gauge also. Normally in Malaysia, we can be a bit formal, especially if you are Malay or Chinese. We always use I in our referring to ourselves. But the moment they say aku, that's it. The barrier is broken. Or they start to talk about
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
right?
Okay.
When
It goes
there's a
informal.
certain language that you notice, right? So really, for example, today I'm already so busy with only 3 training clients and 3 consulting clients.
That's a
So I
good.
don't need that many, for example, to be honest.
Right.
Company-wise, right? I got three, right? Even when I started early last year, I was looking if I can have 5 training, 5 consulting customers, I will be happy. But now I realize even with three, okay, juggling already. Because the quality of time that you have to spend with them, thinking, I don't need that many, for example. Until I sort of license my things, my program and so on, and then maybe I go one more.
Just to touch on one thing, Malaysia is a very big country, so I think distance plays a part. So if you're in KL, then if they want to go all the way to Perak or even Perlis, I think you will have second thoughts already, right?
But in some ways, I don't really have a choice.
Okay.
When I was very active in oil and gas, my main clients were in Pasir Gudang, in Johor, right? And I have another yard in Lumut. And my owner clients would be in Kerteh, Kuantan, Kota Kinabalu, Labuan, Miri, and Labuan, and Bintulu. So I have to see them on a regular basis. So that one is I had no choice unless I have 2 or 3 other guys to work with me, because this is one thing that I do best is always face to face. Always face to face. And I would call it sorry to say, talk cock here. Like, just listen to them, blah blah blah. Okay, they just hit the ball, go somewhere. Like I know golf very well, you know, that kind of thing. So I had to do that. Right? So now that I have a bit more luxury, I focus my target to be within Klang Valley and Kerteh. Simple reason, because I love to ride motorcycle, so I find a reason to ride to Kerteh. So now I have client in Kerteh, I go ride to Kerteh. Okay, that's it.
So allow me.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I just want to quickly ramp up about what we have learned from Faizal just now. You see, I mean, in a way, what we learned from Faizal, I think it's more towards the B2B kind of selling. So when you're in B2B, so in what, I mean, when it comes to B2B, face-to-face selling become a very important element, despite whether, you know, the technology or whatever. So I think what we learned from Faizal would be, you know, he uses social media or digital marketing in a way where he uses that as, you know, information collection. So like when he wants to target certain company, he will start from the company, and then he uses the company to do some searches on LinkedIn first, and then he will go in and find who is working in that company and try to find a person who is able to be, you know, to help him to connect with the right person. And he doesn't usually rush to talk to the right person. That's what I understand. You know, he would like to touch base with the person who is more likely to accept his, you know, his invitation to start conversation. He even would likely to go to the place to wait to talk to the front desk and all this to establish something. And so I think there is a lot of human connection here that's really, like, I agree with Andrew that this could be a dying art, because not everybody wants to do that. It's totally, in my opinion, it involves a lot of work. You must truly believe your method, and you must really love talking to people in what sense. And I can really tell one thing that Faizal is really good at is he's really good at sensing whether the person is ready. Like he mentioned just now, when a person use aku, then he know, okay, so that's the time where we will break in. So what we learn from this is really about, you know, Faizal uses still very much on the face-to-face kind of establishment, but he takes advantage of the social media to dig deeper, so that he would actually create conversation openers, you know, something that would bridge the people about, you know, like you mentioned, you swing a ball, then you know, you say you know golf, you know, and then you can start conversation about golfing and all that, just to get a ball rolling.
Yeah.
Am I right? I think that's
one thing that I learned, I also practice now, is how you use social media as a funnel.
Okay.
Right, where people don't really see how to use social media as a funnel. In fact, if you look at people, the so-called influencer is already using it on LinkedIn. You put this picture is nice, people come to it. It's just like a funnel, right? But how I use it is like, we had a challenge at one time on one of the classes I went, was to post something every day that is educational, but not talking about coming to me. It's just, for example, my sales training. I talk about connecting with people, how to connect, what are the things so just talking about that. On LinkedIn, you have, I think, 300 characters limit. So use within that and post every day something along the theme, right? And maybe every 2 weeks, post a story, and then only at the bottom, if you want to know this, comment with bomb, with whatnot. I think Andrew saw that day when I offered the coffee session. If you want, comment with coffee, right? Something like that. I don't get that many. Like I said, I don't need that many. But if every week I have 2 persons who want to have coffee with me, just hang out at Coffee Bean or Starbucks. They buy their own coffee. We just chit chat, and I just
buy their own
help them
coffee.
process. They buy their own coffee. I don't even buy for them. So, they buy their own coffee because normally they have ideas. So I just help them process their ideas. Like, for example, you say, how do I approach this company, that guy? So give some ideas and they process the idea. They're happy. So from that, they spread the word. Right? Hey, you have start ideas, go talk to this guy. You start ideas, go talk to this guy. So from then, some of them will follow my LinkedIn, some of them will follow my Facebook, and they know that I have sales courses, sales training ongoing. So if they can sign up, like I say, I do not need that many. And if you have many sign up, great. But to be honest, I can only handle only a few numbers every month. Even like, for example, one of my students, we have stopped the training since COVID because I was not good with Zoom setup at the time. My delivery with Zoom was not very effective. I just learned how to do that recently. So the guy felt that he was missing something. He just WhatsApp me, can we meet for coffee on Sunday? I said, yeah, why not? So he bought me coffee. He bought his own coffee. We spent 4 hours.
Wow.
Resolve his issue. And yesterday he went back to talk to his boss. I think we really need to start the session with Faizal again. So I said, I'm not forcing you. It will be great. I would love to meet up with you guys. And again, how I use LinkedIn, I scour for things that has happening, projects and so on, and I feed to them.
Right.
So I said, so things like that. So this is how I use technology. Because sometimes you miss this news, they miss this news, that news, right? I'm all having this input, just channel, funnel. So that's how I use technology.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because the different from a lot of people who is coming from the coach or subject expert perspective, which is where a lot of people will talk about topics and all that. Like I'm doing that right now every day. We have daily content coming in. But what Faizal is doing is he's playing not really on the content creator perspective, but he's playing on the connector perspective. Like what he mentioned just now, he share information about what's happening in the industry. He helps telling people about what's really happening. And from there, he established himself as another subject expert, or rather we won't say subject expert, a go-to person, when we need help in terms of certain things. And of course, I think it's really important that we need to have a very clear positioning. I think what Faizal have here, or what we can take away from learning from him would be, we need to really know what is the role that we want to play, whether we want to become a subject expert or we want to be the connector. I think that boils down to how do we really understand our role. Like if you're a salesperson, then not so much on the subject matter expert. Like what Faizal mentioned, he doesn't want to be the subject expert. He just wants to be the person who is able to connect, and then he will link it to the person who is able to talk the lingo to the person. So connection. So I think it's very interesting topic. Definitely, I think I personally learned a lot from what Faizal is sharing right now. But yeah, I think that's one of the thing. But that will lead us to the next question. This may be jumping back a little bit to what we discussed just now, Faizal. But I just want to take back a little bit on how do we actually do you have a different way of following up with different people, like different stakeholder in the organization?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, would you be able to share like a different kind of people?
Okay.
How would you do that?
I learned this from my father.
Okay.
My father had to service basically the whole of land office, from the office boy, the clerk,
Wow.
all the way to the district officer. So you see the different characters there.
Yep.
You have the office boy whose qualification is only standard 6. You have the clerk, and again the language that they use, the things that they like the office boy will talk about fishing, and then you come to the clerk. The clerk talk about doing multi-level marketing, selling powder, face powder, and all that. How do you go and talk to someone who sells face powder, or makeup as a man? It's not that easy, right? So my father had to find a way, and this is what I watch. And when you go talk to your district officer who is educated, degree level and so on, professional, so that's a different way of talking to them. Okay, and this is something that he did on a weekly basis. Okay, a lot of salespeople, what I found is that it's like kind of a touch and go and wait for results. Okay, but what I teach is that what I've been practicing, there's no such thing as touch and go. One of the things that my first sales manager taught me, when the first time you meet the guy, you have to answer 16 questions. I said, you're crazy, I'm not going to have time to answer 16.
16 or 16.
16 questions about the
That's
guy.
a lot. You
I said,
mean
there's no way I'm going to do that. So I said, so how am I going to do it? Multiple visits lah. So, right? So I would always have excuses or reasons why I would need to visit the guy, need to understand this, need to understand that, this and so on. Da, da, da. So this is why the people like Technip there, the receptionists know my face, know my name, know my voice, because I was a frequent visitor, sometimes almost alternate day. And every time I meet a person, you have to talk to them differently, but it's always, I hold this particular principle, people like people who are like them, right? So one thing that we learn also in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is the voice, the tone, the inflection, the language that they use. If you know that the people who speak swear words, don't be too nice. don't blush, if they swear, you swear also lah. But you meet with people who speak nice language, so you don't swear in front of them. So that's one way, right?
Yeah, it's called
It's
mirroring.
a
It's
mirror,
mirroring.
mirror lah.
It's mirroring.
mirroring.
Yes. Yes.
And I found that mirroring also is the easiest way to connect.
Yep.
Right. Right? Even if you don't say anything, you just scratch your nose. When they scratch your nose, their nose, whatever, as long as the action mirror with them, that's the easiest way to build a connection. Then you start to get them talking, then you just layan lah. They talk. And that honestly is one of the toughest part for me, because if you look at my logo there are 4 colors there: green, red, yellow, green, blue. That is the different personalities and style. I am the red, yellow guy who always wants to get things done now. And people who like to talk about a lot and you have to layan them, you have to be a green person. Okay, you talk about your son speaking at school yesterday. your son was caned by the teacher. Listen lah, yeah. But this is something that we have to do, like it or not. And today it's kind of become a second nature lah. So these are different levels. And of course, when you meet the senior engineer or engineering manager, right, they would like to talk certain things. I had a tough time of actually being shut off by a CEO. I was trying to make small talks, but this guy, it was a really red guy. He really wants to get things done and so on. So he said, okay, Faizal, stop there. I said, oh shit. And he said, if you want to pick up my brains another day, I only have 15 minutes for you. Okay, what do I do now? So I just straight away went, okay, who can I see for this? What can I see for this? Who can I talk for this? I say, he gave me that, okay, finish. See you another time. Wow, and I drove all the way to Pasir Gudang for that. Right? But on another day, I saw him in KLCC. He was walking back from the convention center towards KLCC. He was looking very tired and so on. I was sitting at Dome there. I said, hey, come for coffee, whatever. I said, no, I don't have much. Come lah, I said, it's already getting dark. I know you're tired. Let me buy you a coffee. Promise. A coffee. After that, you leave. I just want to buy you a drink. So he came, sat down, which became a 2.5-hour session.
Wow.
So it's just that connecting with different time. You see the mood and so on, right? So he's more relaxed. He's ready to talk. So that is we didn't even talk about work in that 2.5 hours. We were just talking about his career in Petronas, what has he achieved. When I met him many years back, what he was doing at the time. So it was just all that.
I saw a lot of perseverance. You need to be versatile also.
Very.
And approachable. People like to hang around with you. These are a lot of attributes, no?
Salespeople, the salespeople generally have split personalities.
And you wake up a different person, when you sleep a different person.
Oh, we switch. We switch. I have a jacket in my car those days when I was covering merchant bankers. I have a T-shirt and also a normal working shirt, and even in IT. So if I work with the IT engineers, I'll go in T-shirt. Then my boss say, hey, why you not formal? I say, if they are dressing like this, I've got to dress like this. If I wear a shirt, they're going to say, this sales guy don't know shit one.
Yeah.
And they're not going to talk to you. So you wear your T-shirt. If they crawl down on the floor to pick up the cables, you crawl down on the floor and pick up the cables.
Exactly.
And you do, So when you talk to the CEO or the GM level, you put on the jacket, you go in and out 5 minutes counting.
Exactly. So some might
Yep.
Some might not agree to my way. For example, if you don't smoke, really you don't really want to smoke, you don't want to go smoking with the client. But I go smoking with the client
Yes.
even if I don't smoke.
Yep.
So they say, hey, you don't smoke, why you come with us? I get free smoke. I don't have to buy cigarettes, I'm so happy.
Yep.
Right? So I've had so many ideas just accompanying client smoking.
Yep. Oh yes. And
Because they get the ideas then.
correct.
Right.
And one trick is if you visit tobacco companies, you make sure you don't carry you at least buy a pack even if you don't smoke.
Yeah.
And you don't make sure you don't buy their competitors' brand. So yeah, so if you go British Tobacco, you make sure at least you get a Dunhill or something. You don't go and buy a Marlboro, then you're screwed.
Right.
So yeah,
You need to
that's
do your
why
homework lah. You need to.
Yes.
Yes, I think yes. And what we can learn from Faisal is hell a lot of homework,
Yes.
lot of homework. That
Yeah.
leads us to our next question before we wrap up today and hand it over to Manfred to talk about his website of the week. Really, please share with us about your work, share with us about your business and what do you do, and how can we, if there's anyone who's interested to learn sales from you, right, Faisal, how can we work with you? What are the areas that we can work with you? Please share with us more.
I love to help beginners. Okay.
Right.
Beginners, because I see so many people making irritating, annoying mistakes. For example, today I was at KFC and there was this unit trust girl. I don't mention the company lah. So normally they are always in KLCC, came to me, Encik, can we exchange cards? I said no. I said, for what you want to exchange card? For networking. I said, so when are you going to call me? That's okay, I'm not going to give you my card. Because these are the questions that you need to learn to ask how to connect. And my wife started something like that before when she was doing insurance. And the rejection rate, I can tell you, is so high. But when I help her with how to approach, by how to connect, connect by just connecting, ways of connecting and so on, she came to the point where she can walk into a shopping mall and came out with 3 pieces clothes.
Wow.
Just connecting, talking. This is not even not much homework. But when you are there, you just talk. You just become a friend. And then from there, you get followers and so on. So this is something I'm doing for beginners, newcomers. In fact, we do have a session that we will restart in January. Every 2 weeks, we preparing buzzy bees, newbies. Because we see this kind of mistake a lot. And also they are wasting a lot of time. Insurance agents, they have to walk at industrial areas, melting their makeup and mascara and all that. So I've seen that happen. And what you get, 0 close.
Right.
Why not you go walk in the shopping mall, become a friend, come up with 3 pieces. So that, and also property agent, same thing. I tell you, out of 15, I might get 1 or 2 good property agents. Even when I actually want to buy a house or want to rent a place, I have to go through that many before I decided to engage 1 or 2. So something that we want to help them. And one of our students before, when we were running this franchise before, and he followed some of this advice, applied this and so on, he became quite successful. He stopped asking stupid questions, I would say. Asking like, hey, can we exchange that? So he's starting to ask, understand the person's need, where they are, and detect also when they are ready to buy. A lot of people trying to do this trial close or try to close. I would say don't even try to close. When the client is ready to buy, you will get a surprise phone call. I got surprise phone calls in the middle of COVID saying I want you to do this. And the job turned out to be a $250,000 worth kind of work. Because we have done the connecting, we have done the helping, the service, and all this basically about go giving and serving and helping people. Instead of trying to sell. I hate it when people trying to sell me, but I like to buy. So find out how.
Right. So real salesperson are connectors.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I call my company also Connection at Work.
Right. So
Right.
you build connectors.
characters. We build, we
Awesome.
know people who need this and people who can supply this and so on. That's what I did with my forum, with my conventions. We found what the client needs. We found people who can we connect them, and then after that you take it on. You don't want to give me a single cent. Also, it's okay. That's your, for me, that's your risky. God will repay me back, or universe will repay me back some other way. I'm happy with that.
Right.
That's why I think Andrew saw my advertisement on Facebook. Connect with me. I will give tuition for free. They just have to buy coffee for themselves. They don't even have to buy coffee for me.
Right. Awesome. So, okay, thank you. But Faisal, would you mind to, give us a few minutes, because Manfred just brought up his website of the week.
Hey, cool.
Manfred,
Yep.
you brought this up, and you ready to share with us your website of the week, your wow,
Yep.
is what we have on a weekly basis. Please share with us what we have over here.
Okay, this is the website of the week, built with the tool. So just want to share with you. Sometimes you go to websites, you want to find out what are they using, the internet technologies. Are they using Facebook? Are they using Magneto or even some Salesforce? So this is actually their website. Just for your info. The other one is actually I use the Chrome. Just get it in Chrome. I reinstall mine.
Okay.
So again, one of my favorite target here, Great Eastern. So you see this built with, you just press.
Okay.
You can see that they are using Adobe.
All right.
They got Facebook Pixel, the Google Tag Manager. Okay. Oh, and what else? The CMS is also Adobe CQ. Yeah. So
Or
this
even
is-
the CMS they give you.
yeah. A lot of things, a lot of fun things you can see, as in a very fast manner. Of course, you can open the source code and see.
Yeah, source code is one thing, but
I
annoying.
think annoying lah. You just use this tool, so you can basically see a lot of things inside there.
Right. That's cool.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
That's new.
And it's free. It's free. It's free,
Oh.
so you can play with it. There is one on the website. I didn't play with it so because right now the
That's
Facebook
hot,
API.
Wait, let me bring this into the page.
Yeah, the URL builtwith.com. Just Jason shared with you. So I didn't really play much with all this. So they got a lot of statistics also. I just playing with it because I'm a bit concerned about the iOS 14.
TY is saying you're criticizing existing clients' website. No.
No.
What's
No.
Oh, yes, website, TY. Past Life, Past Life?
Past life, yeah.
Past Life.
No, I think Chiwai he meant that by using this, he can actually use this as an angle to approach potential customers.
Yeah.
Say that your website wasn't set up properly, you have this issue. You have
Hey,
this
you owe
issue.
me a coffee, Chiwai.
TY say he loves this already. TY actually uses this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, TY. But anyway, still owes coffee anyway, lah.
Okay.
Actually, I can help with that line rather than saying that your website is not set up properly.
Okay.
You can say, if I can help you to reach more customer with a different setup on the website, it should be in the time.
Wow.
TY, that's one meal, not coffee. So you have to connect with Faisal over here and say,
Yeah, man.
check that out.
Okay, we just earned
people-
ourselves a meal.
People don't like to be told that they are wrong, right?
Yeah.
They say,
True.
if I can just help you enhance or whatnot, so they say, okay, my website is okay, but if somebody can enhance it,
Why not,
more,
right?
Why not?
Mm.
And somewhere he's willing to do it for free, for trial, whatever, 2 weeks and whatnot.
Right. That makes a lot
There
of
you
sense.
go.
That
There
makes a
you
lot
go.
of sense.
Like, I don't say, hey, you're doing stupid way of trying to approach clients. Let me help you by showing you how the right way to approach it. Let's talk. Let's copy.
Right. Let's go. Thank you so much, Faisal. I think that's all the questions that I have. Is there anything coming from you, Andrew, Manfred?
I just want to sum it up. I think
Please.
when I do marketing, I always try to imitate real life, especially sales. So what you just mentioned, especially the progress from strangers to acquaintance to friend to customers, is very important. And digital marketing is just a tool. Whatever we do, we always try to mimic what is in the real life, the real transaction. So we actually go through one round for us, and anytime we need any reference, we come back to this video and we can try to reproduce the result in the virtual world. based on the real world. Yeah.
My thoughts exactly, my Manfred. My thoughts exactly. I'm going to watch this again because you notice what Faisal has done is basically in our digital terms, is a funnel already. And when you narrow down the customers, the 900,000 SMEs and narrow down to 50, in Facebook term, that's what you call detail targeting or audience targeting. It's true. Whatever you are happening in digital is basically transferred from real life. So if you want to do a sales page, you follow exactly what Faisal will say, how you
Don't
can
tell
use your
people
website.
that they are stupid. You tell people that you can help them
Correct.
do better.
Yes.
Wow, that's an angle, man. That's copywriting gem, man.
Yeah.
That's totally.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally learned a lot from this one, especially because for all the for my entire life, I cannot say past life because I only have
As far as you can remember.
because I always like to tell people I'm a native digital marketer, so I don't really have a lot of experience in terms of doing sales and in terms of like conventional kind of marketing. I really learned a lot from this one, Faisal. Thank you so much for coming to this Tree Marketer Show. It's an honor to have you here. I definitely believe that our audiences learn a lot from you. And if there is anything that, anyone who's watching this, if you need help from Faisal, make sure to connect him on LinkedIn. And this is where he will actually nurture you with all the connections that you make and all the information that he has in the industry. And he's definitely able to help you. You have watched up to now, he can definitely help you to improve your sales process. So if you are from the real estate industry, if you are from insurance, and you really need to learn how to actually quickly turn your cold leads into a warm customer by building connection, you really need to work with Faisal. So Faisal, you have a website?
Yes, it's connectionatwork.com.
So this one, right? CNaction.
Yeah, connectionatwork.com.
Okay, let me type that in the
all small letters.
Connection, XION
CN
at work.com. I think it should be this one, right? CNaction at work. Manfred, can you help me check CNaction at work.com?
Is it correct?
I think yes, I see the logo. All right. So if anyone needs help, please connect with Faisal. And
GY was saying Faisal's method makes us feel human again.
Of course. It's all human at work, right? Although it's all digitalizing and all that, but I agree with Faisal. A lot of things we still can't replace the human interaction. I think it's part of the thing. And I always believe that a lot of time, in most of the time, people buy not because of course the product is one thing, but people buy from you because it's you.
Sure.
It's really the people that makes the sale. That's what I believe in. Okay, I really appreciate Faisal for spending your time with us today. And anything else from our co-host, Manfred, Andrew, anything to add on?
I'm cool. I'm going to watch this again.
Yeah, definitely. I really like this. And we're going to publish this on my YouTube channel and everybody else's YouTube channel. Together, we're on my Spotify and on my iTunes podcast. So basically, you'll be able to watch or listen to this everywhere you are. And thank you so much again, Faisal. Thank you for being with us today. And to every one of you, if you're watching this, remember to hit the subscribe or follow or like button to make sure that you'll be notified whenever we go live. This is Tree Marketer Show. We go live every Wednesday at 10 p.m. This is Jason. I'm your host. And we have co-hosts Manfred and Andrew. And we have our special guest here, Faisal Suhaimi from Connection at Work. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.